Hi again. For this round of conversations, I want to, I don't know, maybe give you just a little bit of a heads up. Every time I sit and try to map out what I want to talk about in this round, it feels jumbly. And usually that's my indicator that we're going to be channeling a lot of the information. And so there's not a set course topic that I'm going to hit today. I do have an intention, but we're just going to kind of go with it. And I want to, again, lovingly remind you that this could challenge you. It's meant to challenge you. So in these conversations, if you're noticing anything come up in you, remember to remain curious and stay in that sacred observer and try to walk through it with me, staying curious about the reaction that you're having. It's already tender spaces, but when we actually go after it and start really digging in there, yeah, it's going to trigger a little bit. So we just start with a nice big breath, right? If you get to a space where you need to pause the video, that's okay. Pick it up whenever you're ready. We're not in it to hurry up and get through it. This is the moment when it requires our presence and our caregiving skills towards ourselves to make sure that we're really taking care of ourselves in this topic, in this conversation, okay? So as I just tune in and take a moment for myself, you do the same. Just notice where your body might be a little bit tight, a little constrictive, and just breathe some space into that area. We're going to soften and flow, right? Yeah. So last time we talked about the importance of doing shadow work and perhaps why we feel like we're getting stuck or noticing repeat patterns in certain areas of our lives. And the benefit of doing shadow work is the possibility of disrupting that pattern by seeing it from a different lens of perception, right? Because we're going in with different questions this time, with a different willingness, as opposed to buying into the story that we're victimized or why does this always happen to me? Instead, we're going in with, I wonder what's going on, right? And so this is going to be the very same concept, especially here, because this is where it starts getting really uncomfortable. I want to talk with you about what it means to project your shadow, to experience an energetic charge in your body when a shadow part comes up in you and you don't know that it's yours. And we tend to project that onto other people. We have judgments, we have reaction, to people that are being whatever they're being. We call that the divine mirror. We see in them a part of ourselves that we don't like. This happens all the time. This is 100% human behavior. It's a human thing. It's not wrong. It's not bad. We're not looking for what's good, bad, right, or wrong in it, right? We're looking at what's not working. And in order to shift that rut of always reacting to that particular trait or characteristic, it's the wisdom and the willingness of always looking back at self and asking the right questions. It's always the willingness. I'm noticing that I have a reaction to that person. What in me reminds me of them? And I don't like that. So I don't know how, because I am recording these videos so early. I can already feel the body reacting. And so this is good. This is what it means to be brave and walk forward in it. Okay. So we just pause and breathe. Let's just kind of start here. So you're out and about and doing your thing, and you notice somebody doing something or being something that infuriates you. Oh, this real big charge comes up into your system. There's an instant reaction to who they're being, especially when who they're being has nothing to do with you. That's always the thing to catch. Now, if they're being something that is harming you, we need to talk about boundaries. That's a different situation. But if they're just over there, minding their own business, so to speak, and it doesn't directly affect you, but you notice the charge in you, that has something to do with you, especially when they're not interacting with you. So we're looking for the clues of where that divine mirror needs to be looked at, okay? We go back to the basement, go back to that space where we like to pretend that doesn't exist. That out of sight, out of mind, we like acting like it's not there. That's the whole purpose of the basement, is so we can just go, okay, I'm done with that. And then we carry on, right? We've all done that. But then you find yourself out and about, witnessing someone doing something. And mind you, it can be seemingly innocent. They could just be wearing a certain outfit that activates you. They could be dancing or being free and loud and expressive, where it's not harming anyone, but you're reacting, right? This is a moment to understand that you are witnessing something that you've thrown in your basement, and now this person has shown up to give you the opportunity to heal that. They don't know it. You don't know it. You didn't talk about this. This isn't a conscious agreement. They are being something that you see in yourself that is wounded, that has been thrown in the basement. The reaction is the clue. When our reaction is bigger than what is warranted, I've heard it said when we have a dollar reaction to a 10-cent occurrence, makes sense? When your reaction is bigger than what's needed, it is always a clue that something is wounded and it's trying to come out. It's trying to be healed. We've thrown it down and it wants to come up. The basement is a temporary fix. It's temporary in moments of trauma when we need to put things away so that we can survive. That's why that's not wrong. The problem is we don't go back and deal with it. We leave it there, rotting, breaking down the framework of the house, right? So this wound wants to come up. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants peace and release. They're begging us to pay attention. That's the glorious relationship with your shadow. They're not bad. They're wounded, and they don't want to be wounded anymore. And so again, in the beginning, it's very common for us to put it down because we're trying to move on. It's okay that we do that. We just have this tendency to forget we did that. And we don't go back and address it. We move on. So you're witnessing something in someone that has nothing to do with you. And yet this reaction comes up. And it's the clue that there's something that wants your attention. I'm just pausing there because I'm like, oh, I just love this work so much. Just really feel that for yourself. It's very human of us, dare I say, even lazy of us, to just react and move on, to just hate that person for what they're doing, to be angry at that person for whatever we're being activated by. It's lazy to leave it there. Safe, right? Because we're not, oh, I think there's something in there I need to heal. The laziness is a safety, but it's not true health. That's not true wisdom. It's not true responsibility. The responsibility is in noticing the reaction to the thing that has nothing to do with you. And then you go, wait a minute, I'm noticing my reaction. I shouldn't be reacting that big. I wonder what's going on. This is the realm where I talk often about it takes bravery to be able to sit in that space and ask those questions, to recognize the reaction and then go, wait a minute, why am I reacting that way? What is it about that person that's activating my field? Why am I so charged? You know what I mean by charged, right? It's this flush of energy that comes up in us. And sometimes it comes up as anger. Sometimes it comes up as shame. Sometimes it comes up as disgust, like, ugh, that person. And we're just like, blah. It doesn't have anything to do with them. We're not mad at that person. We're not disgusted by that person. We are disgusted by the thing we threw in the basement. We are angry at the thing we threw at the basement. We're angry at ourselves for doing it. And so we often wonder why we get stuck in the pattern of being an angry person or a judgmental person, because it's convenient, safe, and lazy to just judge that person and move on. But then we wonder why everyone's like that. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one, because the wound is trying to get your attention. The wound is trying to get your attention. It's not about the people. It's not that everyone is suddenly that kind of person. It's that this wound that was thrown in the basement doesn't want to be down there anymore. And it is manifesting these people to get your attention so that you can notice your reaction is much bigger than what's needed. To be on a healing journey is to first have accountability and responsibility. The willingness to stop and say, oh, I'm noticing my reaction feels much bigger than it's needed. I wonder what's going on. Now, again, there are certain situations where your reaction is warranted. Your action is warranted, moral even. We kind of, this conversation starts bleeding over into morality. We start judging criminals and pedophiles and abusers. We start actively hating people like that, but we justify it in our morals. I would never be like that. Sure, but why are you reacting so strongly? The reaction is the clue. It's a given, I would hope, we wouldn't be like that. Why do we need to be so about it? You see what I'm saying? It's all in the state of curiosity of why am I reacting so strongly to that? Now, this may have stirred up things for you perfectly. You might not think so, but I know that it is. I know that this is a space where I collectively look out at people and I see how they are feeling stuck in their patterns and their cycles. They're stuck in their reactive emotions and not sure how to get out of them. And so this first stop along the way is the philosophical space of, why am I reacting that way? What is it that I'm reacting to? And so that's the first place I want you playing. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through some actual steps to be able to move through the proper questions. Because first there's the noticing. Always there's the awareness. I'm noticing my reaction is bigger than needed. That right there is a huge step. Because how many times do we generally react and we don't ask the questions? We don't wonder why. We just go, and we leave. And then we go, okay, I'm better now. Okay. So the very first stage of this process is the awareness of it, is to be able to be aware of the reaction and noticing how that person doesn't have anything to do with you. And then again, they may be coming towards you and harming you. That's a boundary situation. You're going to react. Please react. That's your trauma response trying to protect you. So that's a different situation when they're actively coming towards you with harm. That's a boundary conversation. All right, so just know the difference. All right, so sit in that for a little bit. I'll see you on the next video and we'll walk through the actual steps of, okay, I'm noticing my reaction. Now what the heck do I do about it? Okay.